Hey guys, so we'll just be looking over the cards that got added in this new selection pack. Sometimes they sneakily add some cards though, like you kind of just have to check. Did you know, for example, the Brown Magician wasn't in the, well, Master Duel on release, but I don't even know when, but it just got added into the game at some point. It- There could be some random card kind of like that just got added in, who knows. But anyways, let's just go ahead and look through these. So we have G Golem Invalid Dolmen here. It requires 2 Earth monsters, so you don't necessarily have to play a Cyberse deck to make use of it, but to utilize its effects, you probably would need it to be at minimum co-linked, so awkward or perhaps not very usable. Well, generically, right now I don't think there's a way to make use of this, so co-link monsters you control are unaffected by monster effects activated on your opponent's field. All monsters your opponent controls that can attack must attack this card once per turn. You discard one Cyberse monster. Draw one card. If this co-linked card is destroyed, you negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls. So the effects on this do look somewhat appealing, but then it's like, uh, Step 1, how do you summon this? Step 2, your monsters must be co-linked on the end board. So let's assume you do all that, alright? Now, how do you destroy this card? Like, is there a way you could do it reasonably? In a not dumb way? I don't know. I just can't think of any way to do so right now. I vaguely looked over the cards and I don't really see a way to do that. And we have some Gem Knight support here. Once per opponent's turn, the first time a Gem Knight monsters you control would be destroyed by a card effect is not destroyed. During your turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish one Gem Knight card from your graveyard. Then target one face-up card your opponent controls, destroy it. So, I don't remember if Gem Knights have a way to recycle your banished cards. They might, honestly, like their banished Gem Knight cards. Even if not, pop one as a quick effect. Let's see. Actually, wait. This is only during your turn when your opponent activates a monster effect. So actually not as good as I thought. This is kind of weird, kind of gimmicky. Summoning this doesn't really do that much for you. Well, it might help you break boards, but alright. Once per opponent's turn, the first time a Gem Knight monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, it is not destroyed. So it's just protection for your Gem Knight monsters, at least. Then we have Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive. So you need an Ultimate Crystal monster plus 7 Crystal Beast monsters. Must be special summoned from your extra deck. During a duel, you special summoned an Ultimate Crystal monster by banishing the above monsters from your field and or graveyard. While 7 or more of your Crystal Beast monsters with different names are banished, this card gains 7,000 attack. If this card has not battled this turn, quick effect. You contribute this card, shuffle as many cards on the field as possible into the deck, and if you do, special summon any number of your banished Crystal Beast monsters. I don't know how easy this is to summon, or how reasonable it is to summon this. But, if you can actually loop this, right? Let's see. It has no hard once per turn, actually, which is interesting. So, it must be special summon from your extra deck. By banishing the above monsters from your field and or graveyard. Is this a contact fusion then? I'm assuming it is. So then you can discard gain 7,000 attack and tribute this card, shuffle as many cards on the field as possible into the deck, and then Crystal Beast monsters. So Ultimate Crystal might not be Crystal Beast. So I don't know what qualifies as an ultimate Crystal Beast, but you know, if you can get another one into the graveyard, I guess you could just kind of summon Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive, even without summoning it. The condition is only to have special summoned an Ultimate Crystal monster, like in the duel, so as long as you did it once at some point, that's good enough. Kurikara Divincarnate cannot be normal summon set, must be special summoned from your hand by tributing all face-up monsters on the field that activated their effects this turn in your opponent's monster zone. Gains 1,500 attack for each monster tributed to special summon this card. During your end phase, you target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your field. You can only use this effect of Kurikara Divincarnate once per turn. So this card is honestly, like, it could be maybe situationally good, but it's not necessarily going to be that great. Because, like, let's say we have Baron DeFleur on our opponent's field and they negate something, then you can use Kurikara Divincarnate to, like, tribute over, like, the Baron, right? But you could have also just Lava Golemed before they could even use the Baron negate, you know? So you trade off less cards than you would with Kurikara Divincarnate. So right now I don't see much of a use case for this. And this has to be used during like an open game state as well. So that's a little awkward. I mean, it's like somewhat like coolish art or whatever, but I don't see a usage for this. And then we have also the Earth Channeler. You can discard this card and one Earth monster, add one Earth monster from your deck to your hand with 1850 or less attack, whose original type is the same as one of the discard monsters. Also, you cannot activate non-Earth monster effects for the rest of this turn. When your Earth monster is destroyed by value, and special summon this card from your hand. So also the Earth Channeler is kind of like because you're locked out of non-Earth monsters. Even Emancipators wouldn't be able to utilize this because, like, within their own archetype, they have non-Earth monsters that they'll want to go into and use, right? So, not useful necessarily there. But if you think about it, while they're setting up their board at least, I don't think they need to use that many non-Earth effects, so it might be, like, doable. Perhaps. But, like, if you're playing a really Earth-heavy deck, it might be doable. I don't think there's a lot of Earth, like, generic extra deck monsters or anything like that right now, so I don't see this really popping off too hard. Like, imagine making Baron and Borreload Savage Dragon and then just getting Nibiru'd anyways. Because you can't negate it because Asa, right? You can still summon non-Earth monsters, but you cannot activate their effects, so... Right? Yeah. So then we have, of course, the Ishizu cards. So... you can target 3 cards in your graveyard to shuffle, and then if you have Exchange of Spirit, you can shuffle 5 here. So you pretty much just ignore the Exchange of Spirit parts, because pretty much no one's going to play Exchange of Spirit with these cards. So we're just looking at those effects. So Kelbeck, this sends the top 5 cards of both players to the graveyard. And then Mudora is also shuffle back 3 in either player's graveyard, but it says up to 3, so you could shuffle back 1 if you really wanted, I guess. I don't know what's the difference between, like, Keldo and Mudora, because Mudora is at 3, which is interesting, I guess. So we have a Guido here, which is also basically just mill 3. But let's see. This part here, the Exchange of the Spirit part, it's not both players, it's either player, so one player mills 10, which is weird. I mean, this isn't ever really going to be relevant, but it's going to basically just send the top 5 as well off of both players' deck. Or decks, whatever. So then we have some new weird cards here. I don't think it's really worth mentioning some of these, but I guess we'll look at the G Golem stuff. So we have G Golem Pebble Dog here. I don't even know what this card really does, but if you normal or special summon it, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 G Golem Pebble Dog from your deck. specifically the deck, interestingly enough. And you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except for Cyberus monsters. If this card is sent from the hand to the graveyard, you can add one Golem card from your deck to your hand. And you can only use each effect once per turn. Card once per turn. And then we have Gravity Balance, which is always treated as a Golem card. And noticeably here it says it special summons both in defense position, and defense position does not exist for Link monsters, so it can't summon back Earth Link monsters. It negates their effect. The attack defense is 0. Also destroy them during the end phase, so you're clearly supposed to use this to like Link climb a little bit more or whatever. It's like kind of an extender, I guess. If a Golem monster you control would be destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it also has a protection effect, interestingly enough. You can target one Earth Link monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your zone this card points to, and if you do, place one GG counter on this card. You can only use this effect of Golem Crystal Heart once per turn. Earth monsters going to this card gain 600 attack for each GG counter on this card, and make a second attack during each battle phase. Also, if they attack a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Let's see. It has to specifically be special summoned to the zone this card points to, so it's like here and here. These two link arrows are weird because you'll never be able to, because of where they're positioned, you'll never be able to summon like more than one monster off this, in a sense, if that makes sense. Well, maybe. The link arrows are pretty weird for this, so I don't see how you're going to get more than one GG counter on this. It's not immediately clear to me, but even if you get two, it's not going to do a lot. And you do piercing battle damage, which is interesting. This can summon back any Earthlink monster, and if they are not negated and have no restriction, which is actually interesting, I guess. Unless that's supposed to be paired with, for example, Invalid Dolmen, who has this effect when it is destroyed to negate all face-up cards your opponent currently controls, and there's no time limit on this. So if your opponent's playing, I guess, let's just say continuous spells or continuous traps, they will be just negated forever. Like Runic Fountain is going to do nothing, for example. And then we have Golem Dignified Trilithon here. All monsters your opponent controls must attack this card if able, once per battle if this card battles an opponent's monster. Before damage calculation, quick effect, you can send one Earth monster from your hand to the graveyard. Until the end of this turn, that opponent's monster loses 200 attack, also negate its effects. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Link monsters you control, quick effect, you negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. So they have a lot of destruction protection specifically. They already have Gravity Balance here, and then we have, like, Trilithon, and then Dolmen, if it gets destroyed specifically. It does not specify who destroys it, it just says if it's co-linked and destroyed. And I don't really know why, but we have Gemini Quartz here. If your opponent controls a monster, you can discard this card, set one fusion continuous spell directly from your deck, which is Brilliant Fusion, I believe. Was it? Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for Gemini monsters, if this card is used as material for a fusion summon. And sent to the graveyard or banish, you and add one Gemini monster from your graveyard to your hand, except for Gemini Quartz. Interestingly enough, Gemini Quartz is actually a fairy, so it has some like synergy with like the Ishizu cards, which is weird, but it's there, you know. And we're getting some new Crystal Beast support. Honestly, I'm not even going to bother looking through these if Advanced Dark is not in a field zone. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. So we'll just skip over the Crystal Beast support. And then we have Menhir here. If this card is special summon from the graveyard, you can target one Earth monster in your graveyard. That can be normal summon / set, so basically a main deck monster. Special summon it, but negates effects. Also banish it when it leaves the field. So you can't special back block dragon here, I guess, with this effect, which is fine. Or add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of G golems subordinate here once per turn. Actually, if you add it to your hand, is there something funky you could do? Nah, I don't think so. Whatever then. We have reverse charge. Flip. Change as many other monsters on the field as possible to face down defense position, then return as many face-up spell traps as possible from the field to the hand. So that's like about pretty much continuous effects. Then each player can set spell traps from the hand up to the number returned to their own hand by this effect. Doesn't seem to be too useful. Okay. Actually, there are effects that activate only, like continuous effects that only happen on activation, like Therian Discoloseum. Is there a degen way to use this that I'm not noticing? It has a hard once per turn though, so it's not a loop. Stonehenge. Darkmoon monster with 0 attacking rigor, special summon in attack position, and if you equip with this card, when this card equipped by this effect leaves the field, destroy that monster. I don't know what the purpose of these cards all are. When monster effect is activated that will inflict damage to you, your opponent takes that damage instead. When you take battle damage while this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card. You can only use this effect of Curse Reflection Doll once per turn. Where was this when we were dealing with the DD Dynamite, Burn, FTK, whatever? Where was Curse Reflection Doll? Why did I have to play 13 or 12 ED when I could have instead activated Curse Reflection Doll? Oh wait, it's his monster effect. It doesn't even work. Depressing. Alright, never mind. Blast held by Destiny. This is related to some of that stuff, the ishizu stuff. But I don't think, I think this is one of the, like, bad cards. I don't think anyone's going to play that. And then Crystal Aegis, Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates. Oh, another G Golem card. G Golem Rockhammer. This card is in your hand. You discard one other Cyberus monster. Reduce this card's level by 2 until the end of this turn after it is summoned set. Wait, what? You contribute this card special summon 3 G Golem tokens in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except for Cyberus monsters. So, you have to discard another Cyberus monster, and then this will need to be special summoned or normal summoned, right? But there's no point in doing that, right? So, if you will special summon it anyways, then using that effect is pointless because you still get the 3 tokens. But I guess that helps you link climb. Good old Splash Mage transcode into a link 4 off of like any 2 Cyberus monsters. And then there's like some Cyberus monsters that summon from hand as well. Probably some crazy link climbing actions doable. I mean, in terms of the UR cards here, I don't see anything that's like super interesting here. So I think the cards that most people would be going for in this case would be the ishizu cards. Everything else kind of looks a little bit lackluster. Like, I don't see a usage for Crystal Skull. If this card is summoned, take 1000 damage, and then change this card to defense position during the end phase. If you did not take effect damage this turn, you can either add to your hand or special summon 1 rock monster with 0 attack from your deck. Yeah, I don't see how that's useful. That summons during the end phase, like, unless I can summon, like, a really powerful 0 attack monster. Like, is there even anything here for it to summon? Like, but I don't see anything. Yeah, that's the summon it face up. There's literally nothing, right? Brilliant Rose. Nothing? Yeah, pretty safe to say. Nothing. Unearth monster with 0. I don't think I see any in the selection, at least, that synergize off of this. It can summon itself, I guess. Wait, does it say rock? Oh wait, rock. Yeah, I still don't see anything, though. This is a Cyberus. So, yeah. I think that covers most of the important new cards they added here. I don't really think like anyone's going to play Exchange of Despair and Hope, because you're going to be forced to play Exchange of Despair and Hope and then Exchange of Spirit or whatever. Yeah, I think they're just gonna play the ishizu cards in some decks that mill or something like Punk. And yeah, that's about it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.